Hello and welcome to the show. Welcome back to the Endurodrome, where we have got more vehicles being driven till destruction. Starting with the Blackfoot. Now, we had one of these run around a little while ago. It lost a wheel very early on and kept going for quite some time. We're going to see if a different version of the car is, or how it's going to fare. This is a diesel version of the car. Last time we had a straight 6. This time we have got a diesel something or other in the front of this. I think similar suspension wise around here. Now I have got everything, diffs and whatnot, everything locked up for the vehicle, because, well, there is a chance we might see wheels fall off again, and we need it to be able to, well, put some power down to the wheels that remain on the car. Although, we may well see completely different things. And this is the joy of the Endurodrome. You never quite know what's going to go wrong with the vehicles. It only takes slight little changes in weight, in power, and speed, and whatnot, and you can have actually bigger impacts on the way a vehicle falls apart, the way a vehicle survives around this course. Hell, two identical cars can have very different lives around here. Is this place the most scientific of areas? Not really. Is it fun to see what happens as cars fall apart? Very much so, I think. Anyway, yes, it's unlikely to be the most impressive performance-wise, if we like. It's not going to be massively fast. That's okay. It should be pretty good at surviving. That's the theory. I will say, as people pointed out last time around, there has been a change to the mud physics in the game in the last update, which is why we're going to actually see a lot more vehicles having trouble in the mud pit. Even a specific off-roader like this, for example. It seems like there are almost bits that the vehicles now sink into, which is going to give grief to normal road cars. This we should be okay with. We have got through it. It's going to prove an interesting new challenge. It's going to actually probably give vehicles, it might break more suspension. We have seen the old mud pit could cause issues, but with it now having more, I guess, sort of pits almost to fall in, you kind of throw the car into it, we might see more cars actually breaking suspension and stuff in there, and it will potentially overheat cars, because I have to at least try to drive a car through the mud pit, which means the engine's going to have to work hard at that section, so temperatures will shoot up, potentially. We'll have to see how it goes. Ooh, we have got some interesting. If we collapsed the rear left already on this, it looks lopsided. The body looks like it's sat lopsided on the back of the vehicle. That's not really ideal. Speed-wise, okay, we're good. We crunch back down. Could we get... That was some frantic... You might have noticed the front wheel wiggling around in the air. Some frantic trying to gather that all back up again. Stop it from rolling over. We do complete this first lap relatively... I say complete this first lap. We haven't quite made it yet. We will hopefully make it relatively nicely, although it's got alarming amount of, something's twisted. I don't know whether it is suspension, whether it's axle, whether it's body. Things are twisted in ways that they should not be twisted. We've also managed to... One of the rear doors is pinged off in a really weird manner, like the top of the door's pinged outwards. That's not normally how doors fail. We're going to spin and bounce around. No real harm in that one. If anything, if it's spinning, it's again losing energy that's not going through bits of the car. It's why I'm okay with vehicles rolling around here. If it's rolling, it's dissipating the energy rather than using it to snap a wheel. Although there are inherent dangers, of course, with a rolling car. You might bend a wheel up as it sort of flips over and so on. I would probably expect to see this fall over a few times. The downside of the off-roaders is, well, the higher centre of mass, higher ground clearance is good for their actual purpose of off-roading. However, when you start taking stuff at speed, that does make them fall over a little bit easier, a little bit more often, so we may see that. I think I've bent steering as well. I mean, for a first time around, considering we've seen plenty of cars go out by this stage, for a first lap around, the worst thing we can say is a slightly tweaked steering, potentially some rear suspension issues. Oh, get through the mud pit. We go. We almost flung our way through it, no problems. Got to get the engine a little warm, pulling it out there. There are some damage to the wheels, so kind of the tyres area. I now almost want to develop a new line to avoid having to go through. That's going to be a difficult one. Basically, the rock pit, I've taken it a certain way. It's a good... Whoa, that's very nose first. Please don't snap or break the radiator. That's a concern when that happens. Yeah, I have a way across the rock pit to not roll the vehicles, but that dumps you straight into the mud, basically, and I don't know if I want to be going over there, particularly if I can help it, but there we go. Oh, God, it lands on the front, and a lot of the, especially the rear axle, just kind of pings around quite scarily on this. It's okay. I think it's just the way it sits when it gets unloaded, but it does look concerning. I've got leaf springs on the rear. I don't quite know what we've got on the front. Yeah, okay, we've got normal coils at least. But yeah, leaf springs at the back. We know they're very, very strong, but if it goes wrong for them, they tend to let go in a spectacular manner. And there's our first roll for the Blackfoot. Ooh, we've lost a drive shaft. It's now a two-wheel drive, a Jeep. Not ideal, I'm kind of surprised. Oh, even bigger issues. Bigger issues, we've lost a drive shaft, everything feels wonky, but worst of all, we lost the radiator. That is not what we wanted. That is not what we wanted at all. With the radiator gone, we will overheat. How far we are going to go until it overheats, that I do not know. Judging by the temperature currently, I mean, it might get another lap out of it unless something else dramatically goes wrong. Yeah, our steering is now very tweaked. Not good for positioning the car for jumps. Very not good for positioning the car for jumps. Actual front axles, yeah, they're not too bent. It's just the steering's ever so slightly twisted. The rear, I mean, it is still bent, but it's not really done much, which is, I'd say, a little bit of a shame. You want cars to fall apart in spectacular ways. It let go fairly early on, whatever broke at the rear, but yeah, it's not really had all that much of an effect. I say that, oh, okay, maybe we're not going to make another lap. This is getting alarmingly warm quickly here. Come on, Blackfoot, you can make it. First one lost a wheel on its, I think, first lap. This one's lost a radiator fairly early on, which is not ideal. Again, I'm surprised the drive shaft going. I'm very surprised to see the drive shaft going in this as early, as easily as it did. Right, I think I want to try and... Oh, that's actually a really nasty hit on the back of the Jeep. I don't think we're going to get through this in rear-wheel drive form. Nope, I think we're going to get... it's going to just get stuck, which means we're going to have to go out here and pull the vehicle along. Now, we are allowed, of course, to free vehicles stricken in the mud pit. Oh, might have thrown that one a little bit too far. We've got it out the other side of the mud pit, at least. That's something. It was good. They do get a little bit kind of bogged down in there, so it's not the easiest thing to pull the vehicles out of that. It does look... I mean, it's had one rollover. We've had a number of cars surviving multiple rollovers around here. Oh, that's again, there's not the crunch I expected from that. That's a big hit on the front of the car. Surprised it didn't take the radiator out earlier. That's a difficult sentence to say, apparently, for me at this time in the morning. From some of the hits we did in the early parts on the front of the vehicle. I guess maybe it's a little bit... It's more protected from front-on hits. It's not protected from rollovers when it's, I guess, crashing down on the top of the radiator. That's the engine gone. That is the car gone. Engine's locked up. We are not going to be going anywhere further with the Blackfoot. I mean, it put up a good fight, and honestly, had the radiator not gone, we would, well, still be driving. Certainly, it was having some issues. Steering was going, lost a drive shaft, and something was funky at the back of the car, or back of the truck. Yeah, unlucky again. Blackfoot takes a tumble, and that's the radiator gone. It would overheat. The diesel one doesn't go as far as the three-wheeled petrol version, apparently. Up next, we have a muscle car. This is the Eris Kusal. I think that's how it's pronounced. Don't really know. But it is orange. It has black bits on it. It's a nice FailRace coloured vehicle. Little bit concerned. Muscle cars have not done amazingly well around here. Some of them have had incredible... Some of them have done okay. Some of them have had incredibly spectacular failures. Don't know what we're going to get here. Plus side for these vehicles is they tend to have quite forgiving suspension, although they are heavy. If something snaps, it is quite the problem. I mean, they're not at all designed for off-roading, but yeah, that little bit more wobble-matic suspension can be helpful. Things like drive shaft, though, they're long cars. You know, these are decent-sized vehicles, front engine, rear-wheel drive. That drive shaft is always susceptible, especially this one here does seem very, very low to the ground. If we collapse the suspension on a car that's already this low, we are going to be having problems. Also, controllability, if we do start taking little bits of damage, is likely to go away very quickly. A lot of power through the rear wheels on tyres not designed for dirt. That's not going to be particularly fun, which means we're more likely to spin the vehicle going into an important, or coming up towards an important jump, or just generally put the vehicle in awkward positions. We are probably not... We might be able to make it through the mud here. We are going to make it through this time around. Almost. Come on, you can do this. We'll get out the other side. There we go. Okay, that's now quite the obstacle to deal with. What have we done to the back of the car? Have we bent something down across the light? I don't even know what's going on back there. Let's not worry too much. I do think I've bent something at the front a little bit. It doesn't really feel like it's steering particularly well. Oh, that's very low at the front. I don't think it's very low to begin with. I don't think it's got worse as we've started this, but I fear for the front. It's the front subframe on these. We saw it happen with the Roadrunner. God, I think it was... No, was it Roadrunner? I can't actually remember what one it was now. One of the muscle cars we ran quite a while ago. The front collapsed to the point where the front subframe hit every speed bump, and it eventually... Well, I say eventually. It very quickly got stuck and destroyed itself. So we don't want that happening with this. We want this... It should still be fast enough. We are going to clear... Ooh, not very well, mind. We're down. Okay, we've landed... Nothing important has snapped, at least, and we still have enough suspension travel to clear the speed bump. Steering a little broken. Steering is a little... Oh, it was the Coronet. There we go. Not Roadrunner. What am I talking about? I remembered my muscle cars. Yeah, it was the Dodge Coronet that went out with wonky... Oh, what is going on with that rear left? Okay, rear left's doing funny things. Front's... In fact, I think the entire rear axle's doing funny things. Oh, ooh, that's the engine gone. Oh, no. It's just, okay, the rear left was doing funny things because the wheel was misshapen. That's the engine. That is the engine gone. I think possibly as we bounced, we hit the front. Again, it's that front subframe. I think we hit that. We hit the front of the engine basically on a speed bump as the front was compressing over a speed bump while I was trying to get the car under control. And that's an engine gone. I mean, it beats the Coronet. It isn't last. Great looking car. Sadly, not so good at surviving around the Endurodrome. Our final vehicle to take on the course today is the Bitron. The B2 is back, this time though in rally spec. Still front wheel drive, but hopefully with a little bit more compliant suspension. Hopefully less likely to puncture the fuel tank. I think that's what put this out last time. I think it got set on fire and punctured fuel tank and it went out in a blaze of glory. Possibly. I don't know. We'll find out fairly quickly. Suspension should theoretically give us a little bit more of a chance. Rally prep suspension, we'd hope it would deal with the bumps and the jumps a touch better, although admittedly what we are asking the car is a little bit outside of even a rally car's comfort zone in places. They are nasty. The speed bumps we shouldn't have any issues with, and indeed we are okay. A couple of the bigger jumps are awkward landing zones. Hell, we saw the Covet, the V6R4 Covet landed awkwardly and destroyed its front left wheel and all the suspension gubbins and so on. So yeah, it doesn't take much around here. All it takes is a little bit of an unlucky landing, rock in the wrong place, and you can do a lot of damage to a car. I mean, it's doing better than the normal Bitron at least by this stage, so that is something. Oh, that's not good. Don't want to go sideways into the mud pit particularly. The Bitron, this is what you need. Who needs big off-roaders when you can have a little rally French car to climb your way through a mud pit? That's not fun. That's not fun at all for that front wheel. Okay, we've got a little bit more ground clearance on this, a bit softer suspension. I don't know if I've actually got stronger suspension, mind, because that has really collapsed that front corner, and that's a concern for a front wheel drive car. We need the front. I don't really care what happens to the back wheels. You can do whatever you like to them car. The front wheels are the most important. Unfortunately, of course, the front wheels are the ones that get hit most of the time because, well, you take a jump and you tend to land on the front, not on the rear. Sometimes, but quite rare. Oh, the radiator's gone as well. Not any normal place either. I could understand / expect it across a couple of the jumps, but that was just bouncing down the road with punctured it. Now, we will have a little bit of time. The engine not up to temperature yet, so we'll have a little bit of time to play with. And sometimes you get smaller punches on the radiator, so it's not too bad. Oh, that's not good, though. Come on, come back down. And another one, just for good luck. Maybe, possibly. Not quite. We'll have to grab the... Oh, get the node grabber. We're going to be... Oh, peeled the door off. Never mind, that's fine. That's not going to affect us in any way, shape, or form. We can't go out before the normal Bitron. Come on, we can't die until we've at least surpassed. It was only on lap 2 that the normal Bitron went out. Oh, okay, we don't turn very well anymore. That is a oh, that's a concern. I think we are stuffed here. I think we are going to go out before the normal Bitron. Now, I am allowed to unbeach a car if it's stuck on a speed bump. I think this is worse than just it's got beached. I think this is considerably worse than it's... Okay, we will have to keep our momentum up. We can unbeach ourselves there. That's pushed the whole front wheel up. That's not what we wanted, really. That is not what we wanted. Don't push the other side up. So if we can keep our momentum up, we might be okay through here. Oh, come on, come on, come on. Over the other side. Right, there we go. Oh, I don't know how we made it. Don't know how we made it through there. We are still, we are still good to go. We're still fast enough. We still have steering. We will not live for much longer, although we will surpass the Bitron's original first car's breakdown point. So how much further we will go, I don't know. It will probably be up until the steering gives out. Or if the front left goes the way of the front right and then no wheels are touching the floor, that is not ideal. Oh, that's some heavy hits on that the working side, but still heavily broken side. That took a battering over there. Temperature's not actually doing too badly. It might not be too massive or a radiator leak just yet. There are bigger concerns, honestly, with this car. The ability to turn left being chief among them. Are we going to be good up here? We're still more than fast enough to carry on. We are still more than fast enough to keep going. The rule is if a car can't exceed 20 miles an hour in a sensible amount of time, it will be counted out. This is more than capable of doing the 20 miles an hour. Hell, we're doing 30 plus around there. So it is good to go. We will potentially overheat the car quite badly going through here, or raise temperature, trying to climb our way through here. Or, actually, that might have killed it on the way in. I've just had a horrible thought looking at that, looking at what that's done to the wheels. Oh, I've still got node grabber on for Jeep pulling, not for little tiny Citroen, or pretend Citroen, I should say. Can we... Okay, we'll get rid of the boot. That's fine. That was just extra weight. Come on, little Citroen. We'll get you out of the mud, and then we'll see if there is any drive left in you at all. Somehow, yes. Somehow, yes. There is still drive. Come on, you plucky little French car. You can keep going. You don't really steer to the left at all anymore, which is a problem. Okay, well, the rock did the work for you there. That's okay. Well, still got steering. We've still got steering. I do not fancy my chances when we come to a speed bump now. Or come to a normal rock even. Uh-oh. That's more normal rock. The engine is doing well here. I will give it that much. The engine is doing well here for not being murdered instantly on any of these bumps. Oh, I think I've got the fuel tank trying to pull it free. Oh, he's on fire again. Uh-oh. I mean, that is one of the downsides of having to rescue a car, in that, well, the brakes are overheating? I don't know why the brakes are overheating. The fuel tank's gone. There's fire. I think the fire will take over the car. The engine's overheating as well. I think we might actually blow the engine. Are we going to blow the engine up before the fuel tank kills us? Before we drain all the fuel out of the tank? I'm not actually sure. Just keep going. Little Citroen. Oh, no, it's dead. It's gone. The fuel is still in there. The engine's broken. I don't actually know. My handbrake doesn't work. It was at the top of that hill. My brakes don't work either. I think I've fried everything in the car. There's a lot of things have expired in that. I presume the engine, it said engine broken, not engine locked up, which suggests maybe now it's engine disabled, everything's flashing, it's now, engine disabled I guess because the fuel's run out. A lot of things broke on that at the end there. A lot of things broke. I'm amazed it was still going. There was a modicum of steering, not much, but there was a modicum of steering. If we'd hit any speed bumps in this state, that would have been the end. For sure, I think. We would have taken out... we've done a lot more damage. I guess where we really snapped the wheel was kind of lucky. Yeah, that's a very, very poorly Bitron. That is a very poorly Bitron. I don't know why the brakes are smoking at all on that, why the brakes are giving up so catastrophically. I don't know where the fire's gone either. But it beats the normal one. It beats the normal one, and it put on a spectacular showing. On to our leaderboard, and it is a 27th position for the diesel Blackfoot. It beats the Pazima Rally Car, beats the Delta 88, the Caprice Estate, and so on. It's not a bad overall position. At the end of the day, I just thought it might have gone a little bit further. It loses out to the Grand Marshal. Hell, it loses out to the little Italian car, the new one, the Autobello. It was... Again, perhaps a smidge unlucky with a rollover leading to the radiator going, but that's what can happen. That's what does happen around this very destructive circuit. We have to go a bit further down to find our next car. The Bitron B2 in rally spec, what goes better than the normal Bitron, can still only manage a 59th position. There was a lot wrong with that car by the end of it. I'm amazed the wheels were still driving, the steering still worked, the engine worked. It was, well, losing fuel up until it overheated. There was a lot of things wrong with that car. There was a lot of things wrong with that car by the time it let go. At 59th place, I mean, it beats the Mustang, beats the Gladiator. You know, it's not the worst, all things considered. We do have to go quite a long way down to find the muscle car. That doesn't go last. No, it goes into a 77th position. The Cusal. I mean, we've seen cars go out with some nasty stuff. That was just speed bump hit into the engine. It took the entire car, well, took the engine out. That's going to stop the car from running. It beats the sleeker GT4, beats the Pazima road car, beats the Dodge Coronet. But yeah, a little bit unlucky. But that's, yeah, you hit that wrong angle, and that will kill the low slung muscle cars. That, though, is going to be it for this episode. I shall, of course, link all the mods used in the description if you want to download them and have a go with them yourself. But that'll be it from me. Thank you all very much for watching, and until next time, a goodbye.